After months of vigorous preparations, local government officials as well as heads of states from across the African continent have gathered here in Sandton, Johannesburg. This is day one of the Africities Summit 2015. The 7th edition picks up from the previous 6, which aims to solidify the role of local government officials when it comes to strengthening African democracy and improving on socio-economic development goals to improve the lives of city dwellers. Now, the Executive Mayor of Johannesburg, Park Stow, gave the opening address in the context of being a welcoming host.
On behalf of the City of Johannesburg, it is a great honor to welcome you all to the 7th Africities Summit. Johannesburg is a diverse and cosmopolitan city with a population of about 4.9 million people, 14% of whom are from sub-Saharan Africa. We pride ourselves as the melting pot of Africa and are indeed delighted to host this summit, which will strengthen Africa's local government through discourse and dialogue. This summit should enhance our role by strengthening the capacity of organized local government to formulate development policy for Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, we gather here under the theme, Shaping the Future of Africa with the People, Africa's local government's contribution to the Africa Vision 2063. African local government has an immense contribution to make in the realization of this vision as espoused in the African Charter on the values and principles of decentralization, local governance, and local development as adopted by the African Union. We seek African solutions to African problems. Program Director, cities are the foundation from which new systems of governance can emerge. There are some cities around the world that anchor the economy of their respective countries. In recognizing the role of cities in the development of countries, we must build strong local government associations committed to citizen participation, transformative development, good governance, and unity. In this regard, this summit should help strengthen UCLGA's role in building local government in Africa. To do this, the summit discussion should be frank and robust whilst maintaining the unity of purpose. My generation led Africa to political freedom. The current generation of leaders and peoples of Africa must pick up the flickering torch of African freedom, refuel it with their enthusiasm and determination, and carry it forward.
We must change our mentality on the history and uniqueness of Africa and strengthen the Pan-African values of solidarity, autonomy, collectivism, and most importantly, hard work. Cities are widely recognized to be the engines of growth, critical development, but at the same time, they are home to widespread poverty and face huge governance, service delivery, and infrastructure challenges. The recent terrorism activities in Paris, in Mali, and the Lake Chad Basin makes us to pay more attention to these developments and challenges in our cities. The rapid population growth also impacts significantly on human settlements in rural and peri-urban areas. Urbanization, Your Excellencies, is quickly changing the landscape of Africa. Management of urban growth is a major developmental challenge facing our continent. Urban growth will impact our capitals and major cities, as well as secondary cities, areas that are often ill-prepared to meet the challenges of urban management.
In preparation for the Africities Summit, it was important to undertake some kind of research to understand the challenges as well as the infrastructure needs of the cities of Africa. There were 7 cities selected for this purpose. We spoke to one of the organizers who elaborated further.
Our populations are becoming much more younger. That means we need to have the types of services that are fit for young people whilst taking care of the aging population at the same time. So there's a shift that has to take place there. For instance, citizens are no longer just demanding water or energy. They're also demanding internet, and then that's a new demography. Now, to roll out internet and make it a right for citizens implies that technology is moving far at an advanced pace than how our policy is being generated. We put together a team of people, primarily comprised of people that are researchers, academics, and people that are in your urban policy and developmental policy space. We conducted research with about 7 cities in the African continent for purposes of doing a diagnostic, which we call the foresight. That work is being done under the leadership of Professor Sal, who is the chairperson within UCLGA of a group called the Foresight Group. So it was a group of about plus minus 14 people in total, and over a period of about 6 months, we conducted that research, and then he's going to be revealing the findings of that research today in the afternoon.
The summit also attracted international delegates as well as top AU officials. We caught up with some of them.
Africa is one of the most impacted continents by climate change, and in the coming days we will have in Paris COP21, the Global Conference on Climate, and in Paris the Conference of the Cities for Climate Change, the Global Summit for Local Leaders. And we will have 100 African elected officials to voice up the importance of Africa and African local leaders vis-à-vis climate change. So of course Africa is an essential part, because as they have a very low responsibility in the emissions, Africa is the solution, because it's the continent of the forest, it's how the planet can breathe. And so we have to help the continent to help ourselves defining a better world. Well, my expectation is that this is a challenge at the level of humanity, and it's important to see if we can globally address the challenge of our future and not react as French, African, European, whatever, but as part of the same human community.
Minister, thank you so much for your time today and for your participation here on Africities TV. Why is decentralization such an important African agenda?
Well, as you know, and all your listeners of Africities Summit, that people never feel government at a continental, even national or provincial levels. They feel government at a local level, because if you get into your home, you try to open a tap of water, nothing comes out. Trying to switch on the light, nothing happens. Potholes, no robots functioning. People blame the local government, because that's the pulse of government. So it is important, therefore, that people need to ensure that we decentralize such that local government must have the capability and the capacity to do all the necessary things that we want, especially now that we know that Africa is rapidly urbanizing. More than 60% of our people live in urban areas, and more so, young people are much larger than the elder population. So let's create programs that must inspire our young people that in the cities are the areas of economic opportunities.
So we want strong functioning cities. What would you say are the biggest challenges facing local government officials here in South Africa, and how is national government assisting them in resolving those challenges?
Well, as you know, the issue of internal migration, cities such as Johannesburg, Durban, Cape Town, they have the influx of people from the rural areas. So as a result, the resources that are there, that have been planned for the people that they normally think are residents of Johannesburg, become small when compared to those who come from outside to join Johannesburg. So it is important, therefore, that as we innovate in our urbanization programs in terms of infrastructure, ICT, we should also not forget the synergy between urban development and innovation and support of infrastructure in rural areas, so that those areas must no longer be ghost areas, but there has to be that balance that must be created.
I have a lot of expectation. First of all, I want to hear what other local governments are saying, and at the same time, I also want to sort of hear what are the new trends, so that we can also, being an actor of urban development, I can also know how to sort of plan for the future.
It's a very important event to our eyes because local authorities all over the world are becoming more and more powerful, let's say, in terms of driving development agendas. We see it in particular on the fight against climate change. And as you may know, France is hosting from tomorrow COP21, which is on climate change. And a lot is happening at the level of local authorities. So I thought, for me it's important to be here.
I'm here because I'm here to negotiate and to be involved in the discussions about the impact of urbanizing cities, but what implication that has on children. So what happens when children are having to move all over the continent, and are the infrastructure that is built conducive for them, their education and their growth as children.
For more coverage on Africities 2015, tune in daily to Africities.tv.